Brian was just rhapsodizing about your performance. He didn't really need to because I thought it was extraordinary. And,
Thank you.
And I would just like you, if you would, to talk briefly about this character that you were asked to play and describe.
Yeah, I play Eli Michelson, who's the father of the word son in the title and the person who wins the Nobel Prize. That's the other bit of the title, Nobel son. So I'm the Nobel father. But don't run away with too much of an idea of this is being in any way going to explore his intelligence, this film. We assume there is intelligence involved in winning a Nobel Prize. Mostly we get to see somebody who's a bit of a big baby. He has basic needs and he pursues them and gets very sulky if people stop him.
And is this do you see this as a kind of sins of the father reference? That the son is bearing the burden of his father's infantilism, if you want to put it that way.
Well, the son is having a hard job growing up, thanks to the obstacles and the lack of approval from his father. If that's what sins of the father means, I guess so. Yeah, it's a warning to us all.
And I understand that you actually used false teeth in order to take it a step further.
I did, because I thought...
Sorry, if I could get a complete sentence there.
Sorry. Yeah, I had my dentist in England make me this set of clip-in false front teeth because, you know, you rake around looking for the way into a character, and when you're playing somebody who's pretty animalistic in his needs and wants, I thought, it just suddenly occurred to me one day, my teeth are too neat.
Excuse me.
Getting a bit loud.
Keep it down, please. We're trying to shoot an interview. Quiet. I'm usually a nice person.
No, you have to fight for what you want. Yeah, I had these teeth made by my English dentist and kind of clipped them in on the plane flying over, because the first time I put them in I thought I'm not going to be able to speak, but then after about 30 minutes they settle in and they're pretty horrible. I'm not sure that you get to see them that closely, but they made me feel a bit more like a kind of dog chomping on a bone through the movie.
It was a great effect. I kept thinking of films like A Beautiful Mind and Proof, where everyone's super intelligent, but you had sort of giant minds with giant flaws. Was that an angle that you came in at, the super mind, super jerk?
Well, I suppose also you're not even sure how bright he is, since he appears to have pinched most of his research material. Yeah, so I don't know how bright he is. He's obviously not stupid, and he knows his subject. And I don't know the world of academia, but there were enough people watching it at the screening who say, oh, I recognize him. And I have heard stories of monstrous egos, so it's not just the world of filmmaking.
So his real talent is for arrogance, really?
I think his talent is for eating and having sex and hanging on to his money. Like quite a lot of pigs in the world.
Did you ever think in terms of the Cain and Abel, that that's what we had here, was sort of good son, evil son?
The Cain and Abel analogy hadn't really occurred to me, but now you mention it. But there is something, you know, the quality of the script is that there is no detail has been ignored, and it's like a very tight-knit fabric, and it doesn't unpick easily. You know, you watch the movie, and at the end you can feel how all of these strands have been very intricately put together. I think that it's one of the reasons that makes you want to do a script, because you admire the craft of the writing. Never mind, oh, I'd like to play that part.
But also the film had a lot to do with its look. I mean, you sort of jumped right into this high-speed, manipulated, color-saturated sort of world. Was that something that was even in your mind as you were working on it, or is that an after the fact?
I really had no idea how the film would look while we were making it. what amazes me is how expensive it looks and how classy it looks. You know, this is renegade filmmaking. You know, flying by the seat of your pants filmmaking. Doesn't look like it at all. But that's the endless miracle of making a movie, because you always know as you look around, you're looking into the camera, and just the other side of the camera is this collection of real experts. They all really know what they're doing while you struggle to figure out what you're doing. And then you go see it, and then you realize what that kind of corporate intelligence was doing, creating a tone and an atmosphere and a look, and it's very consistent and exciting to look at.
The question I have to ask is how it was for you working with Mary Steenburgen.
Is that how you say it, Bergen or Bergen?
That's how I had always heard it.
Oh, well, I suppose we should ask.
People had corrected me to say that.
Mary Steenburgen. Okay, well, we'll go with that pronunciation.
We'll ask her after.
So I should say it twice.
Take one.
Oh, here's Randall. He'll tell us, is it Mary Steenburgen or Bergen?
Mary Steenburgen.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm positive.
Okay.
I've had this many times.
That's what I thought.
I've been disinformed. Sorry.
It was an absolute luxury to work with Mary Steenburgen as playing my wife. You know, she's a sort of legendary figure in American movie making, and there are certain faces that you kind of hang your hat on in terms of going to the movies, and hers is absolutely one of them. So to find yourself playing this charmer opposite her was a treat, real treat. She's an actor's actor.
Did you actually have anyone in mind yourself when you were playing Eli?
I didn't have anybody in mind. I didn't have any kind of role models. That's why I went to the dentist and got the teeth, because I thought, well, if I don't have something to base this on, at least I've got something to stick in my face, lest a performance doesn't emerge.
And working with Randall, what's his mode as a director? Very hands-on or laissez-faire?
Randall's a great director to work with, especially on this kind of material, because you could easily get sort of devoured by its intricacies and not be very free. But he's so laid back on the set, which is a miracle given the time pressures and money pressures when you're making an independent movie, that it's exactly the right kind of persona to be leading a movie like this, because it encouraged people's... You've got to have people who are not out of touch with what it is to be a child as an actor. And I think this film is full of kind of childlike exuberance, and it's not that Randall's like that, but he lets it be.
Any other pleasures you took away from this experience?
I'm just very happy to be involved in a movie that is honouring really independent voices. You know, Randall and Jodie produced the film, they wrote the film, Randall directs it, and they raised the money for it. That meant that nobody's interfered, and so to be aware of a process that doesn't have, you know, sometimes the men in suits, it's very important to keep tabs on something so it doesn't run out of control. This one needed not to have tabs on it. It needed to be free, and it's a privilege.
Thank you very much.
Okay.